Before a ball had been kicked in this championship season, I got FIFA to simulate the entire campaign, and looking back on their predictions, it's crazy to see just how many they got absolutely spot on. In today's video, we're going to be revisiting Fifa'S simulated championship 22-23 season from right at the start of the year. I myself did my own predictions. I'll be reacting to them when the championship has finally concluded next week, but I thought this would be a timely part of the year to check out how FIFA did with their predictions at the start of the campaign. So kicking things off straight off the bat, they have got it spot on with Wigan in 24th position. Quite a few people had Wigan going down at the start of the season, but let's not forget these were the League One champions coming up into the new division with quite a exciting young coach in Liam Richardson at the time as well. Things haven't quite unfolded for Wigan as well as a lot of people would have hoped. Off the field issues ultimately hamstringing them with that -3 deduction, which has seen them relegated. And I've got to admit, FIFA is off to an absolute flyer with these predictions, because they've also gone ahead and called Blackpool going down in 23rd as well. So getting the first two predictions absolutely bob on. Blackpool went through quite a lot of changes in the summer, with Critchley departing in the manner of which he did, and then them just bouncing from manager to manager and different philosophies throughout this season hasn't helped them whatsoever. Things do get a little bit ropey for FIFA in here though. They've got Swansea City as that final relegation spot. Obviously Swansea have gone on to have a solid mid-table sort of finish. A lot of us at the start of the season fancied them to be a side maybe pushing on for the top six. That didn't quite transpire in the end, as they had a few patches of inconsistency, but nowhere near relegation as FIFA had them down. Have to admit, big call from FIFA in here. They've got Rotherham in 21st as well. They were probably the most popular pick at the start of the season for relegation, so the fact that FIFA has them outside of the bottom three, and that's where they are obviously in real life right now, is a big testament to FIFA, I suppose, and that simulation at the start of the season, because I, like many others, did have the Millers going down. Now, if you watch Coventry in the first couple of months of the season, predicting them to finish in 20th was probably quite realistic actually. It was an absolute disaster of a start of the season, with all the issues they were having with the stadium and the pitch and the general form at the start of the season, but the way in which they've picked themselves up from that point to almost solidify a spot in the top six right now is fantastic. So FIFA quite a way out with that prediction. And really this goes to show how well Sunderland have done, because I think a lot of people had them lower mid-table in their predictions at the start of the season, so the fact that they're still in contention for a place in the top six, their first season back up in the championship, really speaks well to how good the recruitment was there and how much of a job Tony Mowbray's actually done since taking over from Alex Neil. Millwall under Gary Rowett have been continuously improving, and FIFA was quite a way out with their prediction as well. They had Millwall finishing 18th this season in the championship. If results do go their way on the final day, and they do obviously get things over the line themselves, it will be a top six spot for them at the end of the season. After that then for Huddersfield, now they're not a million miles off on Huddersfield. A lot of people did anticipate a bit of a fall off from them. It's been a really topsy-turvy year after making it to the playoff final in the last campaign against Nottingham Forest, missing out on that, having a total disaster of a start to the season, and for 70% of the season at least, I think they looked dead and buried up until Neil Warnock came in and suddenly rejuvenated them out of nowhere. FIFA then predicted Bristol City to finish 16th in the championship, which is pretty much bob on for where they are in real life right now. With one game to go, they're one place higher than that in 15th. But Bristol City been a side this season who's pretty consistently been in that region of the table, never really threatened the top six or any of the relegation places. FIFA then had Reading predicted to finish in 15th place. Now, had Reading not been given that 6-point deduction, I think they'd be sat 18th in the table right now in real life. So from that aspect, FIFA wasn't actually that far out on this prediction, but off the field issues and a horrendous run of form towards the end of the season has really cost Reading in this relegation battle. FIFA then had my side, Preston North End, predicted to finish in 14th place, not a million miles off from where we are in real life either, in 11th, a little bit better off than that, but generally speaking this has been the sort of region of the table that we have been at all season really, so not that many complaints about that prediction. Also pretty spot on when it comes to Hull as well. FIFA had them predicted to finish in 13th at the start of the season. Right now in real life, as of recording, they're just one place below that in 14th. It's been an interesting season for Hull. Expectations were a little bit all over the place with all the investment that went into that squad in the summer. Poor start to the year, but a real pick-up after the World Cup. 12th place, we then have Blackburn Rovers, a side who I'd be interested to look back into a lot of your predictions from the start of the season and see where you had Blackburn predicted, because there was a real vary of teams, of people thinking that they might be in and around the top 6, few people thinking it might be lower mid-table for Blackburn. And ultimately they have been a regular in the top 6 for the vast majority of the season, but it's just been this more recent run of form which has let them slip away from that. FIFA was quite a way out when it comes to Cardiff though. It was a complete squad rebuild for the Welsh club in the summer. Could have gone, really one of two ways. They've bounced through a few managers this season, have since confirmed safety, but all in all, hasn't been a great year for them, and certainly nowhere near 11th. Under McBeal at the start of the season, top 10 place certainly seemed feasible for that QPR side, but it's just been such a torrid run of form since that. Yes, Ainsworth has managed to get this QPR squad over the line, but 2023, all things around, has been a real miserable year for QPR, and in a season where they started out so positively that a top 10 finish looked well possible under Beale until things all started to unravel towards the end of him and then under Critchley. This one next up is a little bit of a stinker though, I can't lie, from FIFA. They had Sheffield United predicted to finish in 9th place in the Championship. They've since gone to confirm 2nd place and promotion to the Premier League. Really going from strength to strength after that playoff semi-final heartache last season on penalties against Nottingham Forest, and richly deserve their place in the Premier League next season. They did have Watford in 8th place though, which is pretty spot on. Didn't have them in the top 6 like the vast majority of us did at the start of the season. I think a lot of us looked into just the star power within that Watford side, and we all thought that will probably be enough to get them over the line for at least a top 6 finish, but FIFA obviously saw through that and maybe into a few of the issues behind the scenes there, and predicting Watford to finish outside of the top 6 wasn't that much of a popular prediction, believe it or not, at the start of the season. They were at one point the favourites for promotion. Always feels like at the start of every Championship season there's a bit of hope at Stoke that maybe this will be the year that they push on for a top 6 finish, and FIFA certainly had that impression at the start of the season, predicted them to just fall short of a playoff push in 7th place. In the end, that's not transpired, despite a bit of a run of form that Neil managed to put together late February, early March. This season's ultimately just fizzled out for them, which has been quite disappointing. The top 6 is where FIFA's predictions start to get really interesting. They had the Baggies placed in 6th and just making it into the playoffs on goal difference. Now, what's interesting about this is West Brom still have the possibility of finishing in the top 6 come the end of the season with one more game week to go. They do need results to go their way on the final week of the season, and they need to get a result over the line themselves against Swansea, but still capable of happening, and not the worst shout in the world of West Brom being in and around that 6th spot. Have to admit, this next shout was a little bit of a rogue one from FIFA, and we did flag this one up at the time. They had Birmingham as high as 5th in the simulation before a ball had been kicked. A lot of people had Birmingham down as relegation candidates this season. To be fair, they actually started out fairly well in the first few months under John Eustace, but their season just fizzled out in the end to a lower sort of mid-table finish. But 5th was quite ambitious for Blues at the start of the season from FIFA. After that, and in 4th place, FIFA then had Burnley finishing on 80 points. Now, Burnley weren't everyone's favourites at the start of the season. It's easy looking back on it and after how good this Burnley side have actually been, but let's not forget there was a hell of a lot of turnover in that squad over the summer, and had all of their signings not clicked in the way that they did, this could have been a little bit more of a precarious season for Burnley. That's not transpired in the end, and Vincent Kompany's coached together a fantastic cohesive unit, but at the start of the season there were quite a few people who thought it would be playoffs instead of automatics for Burnley. FIFA bringing it back with this shout though, pretty much spot on with Middlesbrough in 3rd place. Now, Middlesbrough at the start of the season, managed by Chris Wilder, were one of the promotion favourites, and it's a little bit crazy how we've got to this stage of Middlesbrough being so bad under Wilder at the start of the season. It took Michael Carrick to come in to get their season back on track, but Borough predicted to finish in 3rd place by FIFA. that one, all things considered, is pretty much a bang-on prediction. And you know what? Quite a few people laughed at this one at the time, but Luton in second hasn't actually turned out to be the worst prediction in the world. Yes, they can't get automatic promotion, but guaranteed playoff finish and every chance that they do go on to finish third this season. So being just one place out, predicting Luton to finish that high, FIFA went quite ballsy with that prediction, and it's pretty much paid off for them, to be fair. Predicting them to finish the season with 85 points isn't a million miles away from the point total they have in reality either. And then to round off the FIFA prediction from the start of the season, they did have Norwich winning the championship with a grand total of 89 points, and a lot of people, myself included, did have Norwich down at the start of the season as automatic promotion candidates. This Norwich squad, or the core of them, has been there before in terms of, you know, several promotions from the championship, but what's transpired has been a little bit of a mess of a season, to be honest, where it feels like a reset is really needed with that squad and a little bit of a freshen up as well. So yeah, all in all, I don't think that's the worst simulation from FIFA at the start of the season. That's definitely the most accurate one I feel like we've ever gotten, which is interesting from their perspective, calling 2 of the relegation spots bang on, and also successfully calling, you know, places in the top 6 for Burnley, Middlesbrough, Luton, and maybe even West Brom as well, with a few places right in mid-table. There's definitely predictions from actual, you know, humans at the start of the season that were a lot more inaccurate than that. But guys, there we have it. That will now wrap it up for today's video. Thank you very much for tuning in, just for a little bit of fun. And like I said, when the season has officially wrapped up, I will be reacting to my own personal predictions from the start of the season. Can't wait to bring that video out to you guys. But if you're going to enjoy, do leave a like and do stick around and subscribe for some regular championship content. But other than that, thanks for watching, and I'll see you all in the next one.